So who's ready to do a Tableau project? Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Nakia, and today's video we are going to be finally doing a Tableau project together, or what I hope to be a collaborative project that we'll be working on together. So I recently received a comment on one of my videos from Alan, if I'm not mistaken. He wanted me to do kind of like a beginner Tableau tutorial or video. So that's what we're here to do today. We're going to download Tableau. We're going to connect to a data source, and then we're also going to create a visualization to just get started. But before we get started, make sure you hit the subscribe button below so that you don't miss out on any future Tableau tutorials. But I want this to be a project that we will work on together. I want you guys to give me feedback. If you were the stakeholder in these situations, what is it that you would want to see, or what visualizations do you want to learn how to do? If there's anything that you have questions about that I show on screen but maybe I don't discuss, and you want me to review that in a future video, we will do that. So I want to create this as a new series, call it Tableau Tuesday, where I hope to upload these videos on Tuesdays, and they'll just be dedicated videos to Tableau, but it will be based on, like, the content will be based on your comments. So please do not forget to comment, ask questions, leave feedback. With Tableau, it is a great data visualization tool, and there are several ways to do the same thing. So you may see someone else like complete their visualization or calculation one way, and I do it another way. Just keep in mind there's multiple ways to do the same thing, which I will, throughout these videos, hope to show you guys as well. So let's go ahead and get started. The first thing we're going to do is to download Tableau. Now, Tableau has what they have, their Tableau Public, which is a free version of Tableau, and that's the version that we're going to be using in these tutorials so that you guys can get some experience working with the data and doing some visualizations. And then they also have their desktop version that is a paid for version. The last time I checked, I believe it was around $1,100. I will go to their website and double check and post the pricing if that's something you're interested in purchasing for yourself. It does give you a little bit more capabilities than the public version does. For example, with Tableau Desktop, you can actually save your workbooks to your desktop. With Tableau Public, the free version, you can't save the workbooks to your desktop. You have to publish it to the Tableau Public website, which it does require you to register, like create an account when you go to use Tableau Public, and when you save your work, it will publish it to the Tableau Public website server. So just keep that in mind. Like, any of your dashboards will be linked there. And I would like that any projects that we are working on together as a group, I'll publish them for whatever content, like whatever we've completed during that video, I will publish it so that you guys, if you want to go in and download this, because you can download these workbooks, if you want to go ahead and download this one and work from it, you can do that as well. So I'll make sure I, leave the link for Tableau Public below for you guys, leave the link to the Tableau dashboard that we'll be working on today as a team. And then the other thing that Alan asks is like places that I like to get like data from, like data sources. So I use Kaggle, which I think is a great source for if you need any data. Several people publish not only like their data sources, they publish their dashboards. So if there's different things you want to learn from there, I think Kaggle is also a great resource. Now, Tableau Public will come free with the Tableau, I think it's called the Superstore data, which is a great data source to start with as well. But I would like to look to use a data source from Kaggle for this. If there's a data source you guys find that you'd like us to work on together on Kaggle, just let me know and we can use that as a data source in a future video. All right, so I think I've been rambling enough. So let's go ahead and I'm going to share my screen with you guys. Okay, so this is the Tableau Public site, and I will again leave the link in the description box. So when you come here, you will, if this is new for you, go ahead and click on sign up for Tableau Public. It's going to ask you to create an account, entering your name, your email, create a password, that type of thing. And then after you create the account, I believe you will be able to download the Tableau Public. So actually, let me go through this. I'm just creating a new account for this. After registering, it will send me an email to confirm my registration. Okay, so I received my email and I clicked on the link to go ahead and confirm my account. So now what I'm going to do is sign in to my account. Okay, so I'm completing my sign in by checking it's asking me to select my country and region and then to agree to their terms and conditions. And then I'm going to be clicking on create and download the Tableau Desktop Public Edition and download Tableau Public. Okay, so now that Tableau's downloaded, I'm just opening the download link and going through the installer and agreeing to the terms. And I already have this downloaded, so I don't think it's really going to install again, but we'll see. Okay, you guys, so now that we have Tableau installed, we actually need to connect to our data source. So Tableau, it supports you being able to connect to various types of data, like you can connect to an Excel file, CSV, you can actually connect to a database like through Teradata or Oracle or SQL Server. So there's various different ways that you can connect your data to Tableau. In this case, we're going to be connecting through Excel because we're going to be downloading a data source from Kaggle. So let's go over there. Now, I already have an account with Kaggle, so if you want to look through and find a data source and try to, manipulate the data, connect it to Tableau, do some visualizations on your own, definitely feel free. I think it's a great resource, but I'm going to go ahead and download this data set from their a Netflix data set that's been created. Looking at the description, it shows that it's showcasing various aspects of user subscription. So it includes revenue, account details, and activity. So each row is representing a unique user ID, it says, and they have user IDs here. So let's go ahead and take a brief look at the data set, which is below. So here we have a user ID. It tells us what type of subscription they have. So basic, standard, or other. It tells us what their monthly revenue is. We have join date. That looks weird. Okay. We have their payment date. We have their country. So like if we wanted to do any type of visualizations with a map, we could look into doing that if you guys are interested. We have age, gender, the device, and plan duration. Everybody's at 1 month. Okay, so let's go ahead and download this. I'm going to open it with Excel. All right, so I just saved it as an Excel file to my computer. So yeah, anytime that you are using someone else's data, like data that you didn't create or through using code or generate in Excel, I always recommend that you go through looking at this data because it may not be clean or it may not be in a usable format for you. And one of the things I saw when we were looking at the data on Kaggle was this join date. It looks like the dates are in 2 different formats, which I've had this issue once when I was using someone else's data in Excel before. The dates were like, there were 2 columns and the dates were in 2 different formats, and it didn't necessarily format correctly in Tableau. I had to create an extra column in the Excel file and use a formula calculation to fix the date and put it in like a standard date format, because if you look at it, this appears to be day, month, year. And this appears to be month, day, year. So they're in 2 different date formats. So like this says general. This is in a date format. If you look up here, the first one says it's not recognizing it as a date in Excel. So I'm not sure that it would recognize it as a date in Tableau. What I'm going to do is I'm going to insert a column here and I'm going to name it join date 2. And what I'm going to do is the days that's not being recognized as a date, I'm going to fix those using a formula. So what I'm going to do is create a formula in Excel to change the data types to a date for those that are not currently being recognized, just in case when we go to input this data into Tableau, it doesn't recognize or allow me to change the data type from like a string to a date. We'll go through that and see if it works when we get in there, but just in case it doesn't recognize it, I'm going to change these date types and fix it. Okay, so we have the join date and payment date 2 columns added in, and I have them formatted so that everything is in a data type. So I'm going to save this file, and then what we're going to do is pull up Tableau, and then we're going to drop this file in there. Okay, so now that we have our data connected, let's briefly go over the data source tab in the Tableau workbook. So this section displays the data connections that you've established. You can connect to various sources like Excel, a database, cloud services, or other things. Now we also have the data preview, which is at the bottom, where Tableau will display a preview of your data in this area. You can see the structure, you can see the data types and the columns and the rows, similar to what you would see in Excel. And then here at the bottom left, this contains all of the field names, and it also tells you the data types of those fields as well. You can collapse this, and also it shows that data in a table format, like a spreadsheet format, like Excel. So you can see our user IDs, and it's telling you that it's recognizing it as a number. This is text. We have a date. So yeah. See here in this first date, or the first column that's listed as date, is not recognizing it as a date. It's recognizing it as text or a string, if that makes sense. So I know that you can change it. Sorry, you can try and change it like from a string to a date. So let's see, does that work here? So far, it looks like it's matching. So we'll go into the data and look a bit more, but let's try that with the payment date as well, changing the type to a date and see if that, hey, look at that. All right, so there we go. Can you see that? And actually, let's compare that to one of the people that were in a wrong, like customer IDs that were in a wrong format. So customer 1, join date, January 15th. User ID 1, January 15th. Ooh, yes, okay. So fixed it. All the other work was unnecessary. Okay. So now that we can see our data columns here, what we're going to do is we're going to go to our spreadsheet 1 or sheet 1, and this is where you start to do your visualizations and do your work. Just like in Excel, there's different tabs and different spreadsheets. In Tableau, you have spreadsheets or sheets that you can do your work on, and then which is this plus sign here, which has like the little column charts if you look at it, and then the little square with like the plus sign in the middle, that is where you would put your dashboard. So after you've completed all of your work on your spreadsheet, you would create a dashboard and then drag that spreadsheet onto the dashboard, and that will be the dashboard that you publish. So let's go ahead and get started with doing our first visualization. So this is where I want you guys to give input in future videos. What information do you think would be important to show on a dashboard for this type of data, like this data set? Before we get started on the worksheet, let's go ahead and discuss, you may have heard other people talk about blue pills, green pills. So let's go ahead and get into that. So the blue pills are your dimensions, which are usually at the top, and then your measures are usually your green pills. So your measures are typically going to be numbers, numeric values, where your dimensions are like, they're qualitative. They're usually going to be text or something describing your data. So that's not always the case, but typically, like probably 90% of the time, you're going to find your dimensions to be qualitative, like description, and you're going to find your measures to be numeric values or quantitative data. So let's go ahead and create our first visualization. Okay, so for our first visualization, let's say that we wanted to know what percentage of our customers had a particular type of subscription. So what is take the subscription type, and I'm going to put that over text. And then I'm going to take the same subscription type dimension, I'm going to put it over color. So that and we're going to create a pie chart here. So I'm going to change the marks card from automatic to pie. So now we have it where we can see a breakout of standard, basic, and premium customer types broken out in our pie chart. And I'm actually going to change this pie chart so we can see it in the entire view. And then I'm going to go to the subscription type that has the text, and I'm actually going to change that to a measure as a count. because I want to see the count, and then I'm going to change this to a calculation where we can see the percent. So we can see the breakdown that the bigger portions of the pie, like we have the subscription being basic. That seems to be the majority just based on volume alone in our count. So let's go ahead and change this to a quick table calculation and do this as a percent of our total. So we can see here that almost 40% of our customers or subscribers have a basic plan type. And if you wanted to add a label, you can drop it over there to show it as well. So that's just a basic pie chart and something you can simply and easily do and show like, hey, most of our subscribers have this basic plan. That may be something that's an opportunity where they want them to upgrade to a standard or premium plan since they have a lower amount. But yeah, so that would be one visualization that you could create pretty easily. And if you wanted to put this in a dashboard, we would go ahead at the bottom, like mentioned before, and click on the new dashboard tab. And then we didn't name the sheet, but you can name the sheet. Like we can name this pie chart here. And we can drag, well, first of all, the screen is very small, like the dashboard layout is very small. So let's go ahead and change the size of that. And we'll just change it to automatic, so it automatically will just fill it in. And now I'm going to drag and drop this on. Now, dragging and dropping your dashboards, you can see here at the bottom, it is defaulted to tiled. You can also make this floating, which means when you drag and drop it off, like you can move it around, like it doesn't automatically fill up the entire screen. With tiled dashboards or tiled views that you add in, you can't move it around like this. So just, you'll have to determine that, and you can change them. Like you can have a tiled view and you can add like elements on top of it that are tiled if you want to. So for example, if I want this, this to be tiled, I can actually, if I want this to be floating, I can actually change that to be floating, so I can move it around my dashboard. Maybe I don't want it over there. Maybe I want it at the bottom left. So I can change this field around to be floating and move it around as I see fit. And that's usually what I do for things that are like a drop-down box or kind of like a description or a legend, that kind of thing. I will move them around. And you can, we changed the sheet name, but you can also give it a header like subscriber type and hit OK. So that is our first visualization, guys. So let me know down below in the comment section what you'd like for us to work on doing with this data set, or even another data set in a future video. I will read through the comments and answer any questions that I can, but I will try to mostly do the work on another video. So I hope you guys enjoyed. If you're new here and you like this type of content, please consider subscribing to my channel, and I will see you guys in my next one. Bye.